Welcome back to Spotlight. This is part 3 of looking as we put the spotlight on the television production. This is about commissioning and how to work with writers. Please be careful on this one. Now, whether your project is an original idea or an adaptation or based on fact, you have now arrived at the moment when you must enter into a contractual agreement with your writer. It's always scary. Now, in the first instance, you will need to open negotiations with the agent. Most experienced writers will have an agent to represent them, and I mean the same is true of directors, cast members, crew. I mean, this is good practice, and it means you can discuss the dirty business of fees and money with someone else and not the person you will be working with. Always very handy. As a producer, you will need to negotiate the best terms for the project without underpaying or undervaluing the contribution of the talent you want to make it happen. The agents are working for the best interests of the client, and they want to earn the most money because, of course, the agent takes a little cut from whatever the actors earn. It's like a percentage of the fee. You see, in the UK, there are standard minimum terms that have been agreed already through formal negotiation. Places like PACT, which is the Producers Alliance for Cinema and Television, and the WGGB, which is the Writers Guild of Great Britain. We can talk about contracts and things, the actual nitty-gritty in another video, but essentially payments to writers will follow a schedule. The normal schedule payment is as follows. It's payment on the acceptance of the treatment, payment on the commencement of the first draft script, payment on delivery of the first draft, payment on commencement of the second draft, and payment on principal photography. The 6 payments add up to the total minimum payment due under the contract. There are also further payments due to the screenwriter for advance purchase of certain use fees. This means paying up front for the right to show the film more than once or to buy the rights to the show in certain foreign territories. Well, the contract should also state clearly how long each part of the process will take. But there will also be cut-off points in the contract should the two parties not agree on how to proceed with the project. And believe it or not, that does happen. There is a term used in the industry at this point, and it's one you've got to get familiar with. It's called turnaround. Turnaround is the term used to describe the arrangements when an option lapses and the rights revert to the original copyright holder. This may be the screenwriter, or it could be the producer or a production company if they initiated the project and invited the writer to become involved. Let's talk about treatments and scripts. The standard way to commission a screenwriter in our industry is to begin with the treatment. The document can be quite long or quite short and will vary enormously depending on how the writer likes to work and whom you need to show it to. Now, the Guild defined the treatment as, it's quite broad, an outline or synopsis in narrative form of the entire story, including the fuller structure and development and characterization of the plot. It's important to remember that the treatment is a working document for the screenwriter and you. It is entirely different from a sales pitch or selling document, which will usually be no more than one A4 side, and that is obviously designed to attract funders. What you need from the treatment is a clear sense of what the series is about. You need a beginning, a middle, and an end. You will want to understand the characters, their arcs, their story arcs, their journeys through the drama, and you need an idea of structure and, of course, some exciting moments. Writers have their own way of plotting and planning their stories before they commence a script. This interim work might include documents such as a scene-by-scene breakdown or a step outline. This will be useful to you as the producer, but it is part of the work in progress and not usually shown to anyone outside the core development team. When you receive the first draft of the treatment, you can get feedback and give notes and do it that way. If there are differences between what you expected and what the writer is focused on, then at least it's at an early stage, and it's an important time to discuss with them and come to an agreement on the direction of the project. Once you have a treatment with which you are happy, you may wish to start trying to raise development money for the project and applying to funding organisations. But remember, development funds are increasingly limited, and you may need to ask a writer to do some more work, including maybe even writing the first draft of the script. As a producer, you should have experience of what works and what doesn't in a script. You need to be able to ask all the right questions, and you need to be able to give suggestions, changes, improvements. Giving notes to the writer can be a very delicate business and must be done with tact and diplomacy. Most good writers will respect your input and welcome the collaborative nature of development. But beware, that doesn't always happen. Give helpful notes to the writer. Once done, you'll find this process very rewarding. But once done, what do you do about finding a director? Attaching cast? All will be revealed in our next Spotlight video.